Hello and welcome to this video. If you are here and you've clicked on this, you've probably actively searched for it. So I want you to know that this is a completely safe space. Any comments below that are saying anything nasty are going to be deleted and monitored. So you're all good here, and this is all about information giving and education and being supportive of one another. If you're probably feeling pretty scared, afraid, maybe emotional, dirty, there might be all these feelings that are happening, or maybe you just simply want more information on what this exactly means and what you can do to maybe help heal your body. Is there anything you can do at all? Because a lot of doctors tell you that actually there's nothing you can do, you just have to wait for your body to actually just heal itself, and they don't really provide you with any further resources on what to actively do, and so you feel a little bit helpless. I certainly did. Or maybe you're trying to avoid the LEEP surgery, which if you don't know what that is, I'm going to get into that as well. But firstly, I just want to explain what HPV and CIN2 exactly is. There's CIN1, CIN2 and CIN3, and they progress further and further, which means they are more invasive. They're precancerous cells that form in your cervix, and they can lead to cervical cancer or genital warts or a plethora of different things, but they're really the main two. The ones that are really nasty is 16 and 18, which if you had the Gardasil vaccine in high school, you are not going to be able to contract that. But their HPV is everywhere. Human papillomavirus is what it's called, and there are hundreds of different strains. The likelihood of you contracting this is 100% if you're sexually active and you have different partners in your life. It's not, everyone has it. It's not something that you should feel ashamed about. It's not something that you should feel dirty about. You're a human being and you're valuable and you matter. And today we're going to learn and overcome it together. And I'm going to try and be as transparent as possible and give you all the resources that you can to overcome this. So when I first went to the doctor, I was really scared, and when I got this news, because it ultimately means that you have precancerous cells, and the options for that are surgery and something called LEEP surgery, which is where they cut off the end of your cervix, which is like this cushion, and so basically you're forming scar tissue around that. I immediately asked what that meant for me. My periods are quite painful. What if I give birth one day, decide to have a child? And she was honest and said, there is a higher chance you could miscarriage, and there is a higher chance that you will struggle in your birth. And that was a non-negotiable for me. It was something that really hit home. And I decided to do all this research, and so I've linked a Google Doc below with everything in it. And when I say research, I'm an academic person. I studied sociology, so I only read scientific academic papers to get the information that I sought. Yes, Reddit and all can be wonderful, a general Google search can be wonderful, a YouTube video like I'm speaking to now can be wonderful, but I wanted the studies that showed what was successful and what was not, so that I knew exactly what path to go down. So I have a couple of papers in front of me that are my results. So I'm just going to cover the private information up top, but this first one is from 2021, and the box is ticked for non-detected 16 to 18, which is the really deadly ones that we know cause cervical cancer as they progress and they get worse. And usually your body will heal this on its own. It's only when it progresses that it starts to get concerning. But in most cases of CIN2 or just your general HPV, it lies dormant in the body for a while. So most people can overcome this. It's just the few of us that can't and have to take other measures to do so. So it was detected as abnormal high grade, and mine was CIN2. The next stage being CIN3, which is very serious and requires surgery. CIN2 is on the cusp, and it does kind of put the question in the air of are we or are we not going to intervene here and surgically remove the cells that are growing on your cervix. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to do that, that's completely your choice. And it was detected that it was a high grade as well. So that kind of scared me into action. So the first thing I did was started research about different things that I could do to overcome it. And one of the things that popped up was the pill. And I don't know if this will come as much as a surprise to some people, but estrogen feeds cancer, and that kind of started to blow my mind. And there is a study that stated that women who have HPV have a higher chance of developing cervical cancer later in their life if they are on the pill. And on the pill packet, which I'm just going to go get in a minute because it says something that I never knew. All right, so I have the pill packet in front of me. This is an old one. It's called Femi-Tab. It's just generic. It's your combination pill, estrogen mixed with proestrogen, which everyone has unless you're on the mini pill. But it says right here in black and white, the most important risk factor for cervical cancer is persistent human papillomavirus (HPV) infection. Some studies have indicated that long-term use of the pill may further contribute to this increased risk, but there continues to be controversy about the extent to which this finding is attributed to other factors, e.g. surgical screening and sexual behaviour, including the use of barrier contraceptives. I'll just show you so it focuses. Okay, so I was very upset when I learned this because I wasn't told that by my doctor, and I felt really lied to about the pill. And I know that the pill comes with risk factors in itself, blood clots, all of that. This was at a time in my life when I really did not want to get pregnant, and you just go on the pill because whatever. I also had really painful periods, which I later found out was as a result of malnutrition. So just an underlying plethora of things that made me upset about doctors, their negligence to it. I don't not trust doctors. I do, but it's made me question and made me want to do more of my own findings as time has gone on. As soon as I read this, I immediately stopped taking the pill. I did not take the pill ever again. I have not taken the pill ever again. I'm also not pregnant because I read a book. I read this years ago actually. It's called Taking Charge of Your Fertility. Look, it is a natural thing. It's not pseudoscience-y. It is backed by scientific studies. It just follows your cycle. Basically tells you how to get pregnant and how not to get pregnant, because you only ovulate once a month. And I actually never knew that either. So there's that. So I don't have children, and I'm not planning on getting pregnant anytime soon. So we use the methods out of this book. I track my cycle. We've never had a scare. Once we did, but it was because I was late because I was stressed. But yeah, it's really easy if you're regular. If you're not regular, you have PCOS or endometriosis or a number of different things that might be wrong with your menstrual cycle, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you, and you're going to have to find a solution that works best for you, whether that be the use of a copper IUD that's not non-hormonal, it's still invasive, but it might work for you if you are sexually active. The worst thing about HPV as well is that men are carriers, but they don't get any symptoms. Only women get symptoms. So yeah, I immediately stopped taking the pill after I learnt that, and I haven't been on the pill since. So I'll show you the papers again. So this was for the 8th of the 1st, so the 1st of January in 2021. Then I was tested again 6 months later on the 17th of the 9th, so September 2021. And we went from a high grade CIN 2 in my previous test to a low grade abnormal test, which is fine, that means it's just on my cervix, and no abnormality detected. So before that, it was a high grade with an abnormal high grade CIN 2. So within the space of 6 months, it had gone down. Now there were a number of different things that are attributed to that as well. And one of them, this is going to sound wild, but it's called AHCC mushrooms. And I'm going to show you exactly what that is. So there was a study that was done, it's linked below in the Google Doc, that women who took AHCC, which is a derivative of shiitake mushroom, they took 4,000 milligrams, hey Bubba, this is my dog, a day. They showed results of their CIN 2 downgrading to abnormal or HPV completely disappearing. That was enough, even though that's only one quantified study and there needs to be more studies done into this, that was enough for me to take a chance on it, and I hope it's enough for you to take a chance as well. I learned a lot about mushrooms. Not all extraction of mushrooms are created equally, particularly when it comes to AHCC, because it is a derivative of shiitake mushroom. So this was the Quality of Life brand. This was really hard to come by for me, and it's really expensive, and especially you're probably taking up to 4 capsules a day. So alternatively, what you could do is you could find powder and you could make your own capsules, and that way you're kind of saving a little bit of money, and you also can make them as large as you like, or you can mix them in a tea. I can't stand the taste of it, but if you want to, you could do that. But it's about the extraction process as well. Extracting the micellar from a mushroom requires a certain process. There is alcohol extraction, which it kills the kind of mother in it. So you want one that doesn't do that and obtains all of the T cell activity, all of the mycelium, the mother of it, and this is the brand that does it. But like I said, it is expensive. There is a great book if you are interested. Let me just find it. Okay, this is called Medicinal Mushrooms, The Essential Guide by Christopher Hobbs. He does reference Peter Sandpros in here, who's like the godfather of mushrooms, who gave turkey tail to his mother who had stage 4 breast cancer, and she was cured with turkey tail mushrooms. It's a real thing. I'll link the TED Talk below. I know that this might sound pseudoscience-y, like I get it, but fungi is incredible, and I think nature creates cures. You know, nature creates disease, nature also creates an opposite, which is a cure. So I don't think enough research is done into the power of what medicinal mushrooms can provide and further provide. And I really hope that there is more research done on the power of mushrooms, because it changed my life. So further onto the mushroom train, I also bought these because of different properties. I did start taking turkey tail mushroom in that time as well. So I came off the pill, I started taking AHCC, and I also started taking turkey tail mushroom, and I don't have the bottle anymore, but I started taking one that was a dropper under the tongue before I realized that it's not enough. It's not potent enough to actually like do its job. You need the real powder, the stuff that's all the mother mycelium, everything involved. So this is a great little brand. It is Australian, but you might find some in your country. So reishi mushroom whole grain powder is one. This can help improve sleep and reduce fatigue. It's also known to do a lot of other things like with blood pressure, etc. But turkey tail is one of the most powerful medicinal mushrooms that we know. It's also probably got the most research around it regarding cancer and regarding other diseases and ailments. Definitely needs to be more studies done into its immune defenses and properties that it can provide for us and the world. But it's gut health, reducing inflammation, boosting the body's natural immune defenses, It's grown organically, it's freeze-dried, which means there's a higher nutrient retention than other drying methods. So I make my own tea. It doesn't taste that bad, it's pretty good. It's the HCC that's the worst, or I put these in capsules. I also keep these in the fridge because I live in Queensland and it's really humid. So that's the mushroom section. It worked for me. I have another test result here. Another thing I wanted to talk about though is just vitamins in general and upping your fiber, your fruits, your vegetables, that kind of thing, like really boosting your body's immune defenses to help fight off this HPV naturally, with obviously the help of the power of mushrooms. But one study kind of indicated that a vitamin called resveratrol, which is a derivative from blueberries, it's an antioxidant. It supports the cardiovascular system and skin health. Studies indicated that that was quite powerful. And another study was talking about the power of B vitamins, vitamin C, and folic acid as well, because folic acid's got to do with your womb and healing that area of your body. And surprisingly enough, my period pain was literally almost nothing. Like, and it is so manageable these days. Like, I feel like when I had CIN 2, my period, my body, my womb was screaming. It was so painful, and I just remember having it for so long. Like, I would cry and pass out on the bathroom floor. I would vomit. And it's just such an awful time, and I never knew, and I just feel so naive, I suppose. I felt so naive to it all, but now I feel really empowered with this knowledge, which is why I wanted to make a video and share it. So my final test, and this was done a year later because the previous test was a low grade, no abnormality detected. So yeah, was that correct? Yeah, so my next test came back, just cover the thing there, as a non-detected, low risk, low grade, abnormal. Nothing else is ticked on this side of the chart. Everything is ticked on the other side, and not everything, but like non-detected, low risk, and abnormal, low grade. So that means that it's almost gone. Like, it's literally nearly gone. So this year I'm having my final test, and hopefully it is completely gone. This is huge. Like, I just feel like this knowledge is not shared enough, that I felt so left in the dark. Like, if I didn't know, like if the internet didn't exist, for example, if no one told me, I suppose, pointed me in the right direction, no one did, I pointed myself in the right direction, I would have never come off the pill, and I would have never started taking mushrooms. I would have never started taking vitamins and supplements, and I just think that's so awful. Like, how much is our health gatekept in that way, you know? And I feel much more empowered to take control of my health, particularly as a woman, with fertility, with my womb health, all of that. So if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. The Google Doc will be live. You can go through it at your own pace. Take your time. Go down the rabbit hole of research. Try not to cherry pick. Try to read really well-rounded studies. If you can find peer-reviewed, that would be good. But there's not enough funding, unfortunately, in the scientific field to actually research further into mushrooms, and maybe one day there will be, but not at the moment. But hope you walk away from this feeling empowered and with knowledge to actually change your life for yourself, and talk to your doctor about different contraceptive methods if you are worried about getting pregnant, last thing I want to do is get anyone pregnant. Most doctors are genuinely open, I think, to their patients' health, particularly in Australia. I'm pretty forthright when it comes to doctors as well. I ask lots of questions, and I'm really proactive in my health. So it's not, I think sometimes people, you can't blame a doctor who, my doctor's very open to solutions. I told her about this, and she was like, look, there's not enough research done, not enough studies done into the pill affecting HPV, but there is a link, but we're just not quite sure. And that is completely true. She's not lying. Some people could be fine, continue taking the pill, and they clear up the HPV, no worries. Other people like myself, we're not fine. And so coming off the pill and increasing vitamins, mushrooms, all of that was the best alternative for me. The only thing is that I don't know whether it was just coming off the pill that completely changed everything, or whether it was taking AHCC. I don't know, but I chose to come off the pill and do this. But maybe someone else doesn't come off the pill and they just start with increasing their vitamins and taking mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms, to help. I never experimented with that, so please share this video around if you think it's going to help someone. I think the more women and men that know about this are empowered to take control of their health, the better. And if you have any questions, feel like I've missed something, please comment below, or if you have your own experience, please, I would love to hear. And it would be really, really helpful for other people who stumble across this video on this little corner of the internet, that if they could read other people's stories and just feel empowered and feel inspired to actually take control, to have the mindset to overcome it as well, to see inspirational stories of women who've done it. And hey, even if you haven't and you had the LEEP surgery, please share your thoughts with that as well, because it's not the end of the world. You know, we can still function, we can still go on. To my knowledge, it's just quite invasive, that's all. And look, the last thing we want to do is actually get cervical cancer. So we're very, very lucky to even have systems and treatments that can detect this so early before we get full-blown cervical cancer, and we can have something that actually cuts it out and reduces our risk of ever getting it. So it is a good thing in the way, and it's a great alternative, I suppose, if you can't get to that stage. So yeah, all the best, and I'll see you in the next video that I post in a year's time. Bye.